Welcome back again to the channel. It's Dale here and I am your captain. So this video is actually prompted by one of my followers who sent me a message on Instagram asking me, I'm gonna put it on the screen anyways, like, hey Dio, how is it like working in care homes over here in Australia, same as in the UK, because he doesn't want to move from fry pan to fire, please help me not to make a mistake and all that. So I was like, as someone that has worked in the UK in aged care, so aged care in the UK is the same as care homes, okay, but here in Australia we call it aged care. So someone that has worked in aged care in the UK as a full-time nurse for 1 year, I thought, you know what, it would be unwise for me to hide this kind of information I have, because it's very important for people to actually know what they are trying to enter. So yeah, in today's video I'm going to be giving you two experiences, in fact two different experiences I had in care homes here in Australia. Okay, so if you're not new to my channel, you know I'm a practicing anesthetic nurse here in Australia. However, I do have aged care experience, so I did pick a shift as an agency nurse in aged care here in Australia just for the experience. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about it. My very first shift here in Australia with a care home like aged care the day was beautiful. Okay, I picked up evening shift, so a PM shift starts usually from 2:30 up until 11 o'clock. So when I picked up the shift, went there, it was nice, beautiful place, first class care home, you know, that kind of care home you enter and everywhere is like a hotel. That's it. I took handover of a total of 22 residents, and yeah, after the handover I was like shown around the place, and then I was told that I have a medicator, and I was like, who is a medicator, excuse me? Because it's actually my first time like in the care home setting in Australia, so I was like, what's a medicator? So they told me, oh, a medicator is a trained healthcare worker who has been trained to give medication. So here in Australia, most of the care homes here that I have worked in, their medication is in a dosette box, so it's already in a sealed place where you just give AM meds, PM meds, night meds, you know, like that's it. So it's very easy for you to pass meds to the resident. Unlike the UK, most of the places I went, you have to bring it out one after the other, although there are some places in the UK that also practice dosette box, but so far all my experiences here, all the medications are in a dosette box. I don't know if it's a normal thing here in Australia, but I'm yet to go to a nursing home where they have to dish out meds separately. It's all in a dosette box, which makes it easy for us anyways. So they say, yeah, the person is trained to give meds, and I was like, okay, fine. So okay, what am I going to be doing? Or they say, oh, majorly you have to just supervise, you give information to relatives when they come, you have to assess, you have to, you know, if there's any emergency in the unit, you are the one responsible, care plan, but no medication. I was like very surprised, because I've never ever gone to any place in the UK where you are a nurse and don't have to pass meds. Usually in the UK we have something like team leaders, so team leaders are also like trained personnel to give medication, just like their own medicator. Okay, but usually they will handle a floor and you will handle a floor, but there's no way I will go as a RN in the UK and I will not pass meds at all. Okay, so but here in Australia, particular care home, my experience was that I'm in a floor where I don't have to pass a medication. Okay, so the only time I have to pass medication is when the residents needed any S8 drugs. So here in Australia, the S8 drugs are our control drugs, just like in the UK. We call them CDs in the UK, like control drugs. You have to give any subcut medication anyway. You have to do it because the medicator is not a licensed practitioner. They don't have license to give IVs, called any invasive medication. They're just trained to give oral meds. Okay, so but you are just there to supervise, and you are still responsible for all the residents. But I had an amazing shift, calm shift, and one difference I noticed is that in the care homes here, they do have a doctor on ground. God, I don't know, maybe all the care homes I've been to in UK is quite different from what you are used to, but all the care homes I went to in UK, I've never had any doctor on ground. The only time we had other personnel come into our care homes were ambulances when they want to take a resident to the hospital, or like a GP visit. This particular care home I went to, I mean, even other ones I've been to subsequently, there's a doctor on ground, but of course it's just morning and evening shift. They don't stay overnight. We also had a physiotherapist and a physiotherapy technician on ground on the care home, like they are employed by the care home. This is not like visiting physios or visiting doctors, they are actually employed by a care home, which I found very, very nice, because I've never had that experience in the UK. But please let me know if you've had this kind of experience in the UK. I had an amazing shift, no complaints, the stress wasn't too much, it was minimal stress. And yeah, I went home, I was so happy. I called my friend, I told her everything about this care home. We were like, it's a lie, blah 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 blah. I say, care home is good here. Me that was rejecting care home offers when I was in the UK to come to Australia. Maybe I made a mistake. I say, let me pick another shift. And this time I picked another shift in a new care home, just for the experience. I was like, I'm new now, let me adventure lover that I am, big body. Let's go back to my day 2. So the second shift, I was like, adventure lover, I will not go out to that same care home. Let me see how other care homes are. Guys, I booked a shift, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to tell you that 2 people can be in the same country and have opposite experience. And that's why I don't try to downplay other people's experience. Some people tell you how Australia is the best country, and some people tell you Australia is not. Okay, so as much as possible, respect every other person's opinion about a country. I went to that new care home. So this one was a night shift. It started 11 o'clock and it will finish at 7 a.m. I went there, I took handover. They handed over patient, or this handed over resident, 20 residents. I was happy. I said, okay, can you show me around? They say 20k. You have other residents, sit down. So they had wings. So another nurse came from another wing and she was like, hi, you the nurse for the night? I said, yes. She handed over 32 residents. I was like, okay, can you people do me orientation? This is my first day here. I said, no. There's another nurse coming from one wing like that. You have to wait. I said, okay. 32 and you're telling me to wait. They came. Guys, I had a total of 42 residents that night. And I was like, my mouth opened. It did not close till I left that shift. 42 residents. Where do I start from? I was like, okay, is there any medicator? Because me now, the last care home I went to, there was a medicator, right? So in my head, if I had 22 the last time and I had a medicator, why would I have 40 plus and I will not have a medicator? They said, no, this is 9 shifts. I know usually on a normal rule of thumb, 9 shifts staffing is very skeleton and it is very bad. But come on, guys, 42 residents, no medicator. It was a no-brainer for me that would be my last time there. Anyways, I didn't tell them, of course. It was just in my mind that if people see me here again. Okay, I took over and the fact that the residents I took over were not simple cases, they were complex. Tell me, we had resident with syringe driver, we had resident that needed SA drugs, we had resident that needed peg fed, and this is not 1 or 2, most of them needed all this things. I was like, how would I cope? But the good thing I had was that it was a night shift and it started at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock means that the evening staffs have already given out like night meds and most of the residents were already in bed, so I didn't have any routine medication to give that time. The only thing I had to do was to check on all the patients with syringe driver, all of them with peg feed, and all of them that needed PRN medications. Okay, so it wasn't too bad, but the thought of having 42 residents under my care was scary. Let's not lie, it's scary. And guess what? To top it up, I had a patient that had a fall that night. Where do I start from? That fall kept me up all night. And you know, you have to do all the false protocols, and here in Australia the paperwork for falls is not even close to the ones we have in the UK. I promise you, I had to email the manager that night. I emailed the manager, I emailed the doctor, because I told you we had doctors always on ground, so I had to email the doctor, and I also had to email the family members that night. God, I did all the false protocol paperwork a lot. I had to change syringe driver 24 hours, right? I had to change peg. Some of the peg I stopped it in the middle of the night for them to rest, for me to restart in the morning. It was a lot, guys. I was like, isn't this same care home that I've gone to and came back, and now this is a different thing? What's happening? I know that every place I go to won't be the same, but guys, let's be honest, the differences was just too much. Just too much. I was like, thank God though. What if I had gone to a care home and this is my permanent place of employment, and I had signed contract with them, I was like, how would I have coped? But anyways, it was not a nice night, let me not lie. Okay, it was not a nice night. Me, I think that they have proper staffing for care staff, like the care workers, they are properly staffed. Like, I think I had like six two in each places. It was okay, but for me, handling 40 plus residents in the night shift, I've never had that experience anywhere in the UK, and I usually go for care home shifts in the UK as well. Even after leaving my permanent employer, I had agency shifts with care homes in different places, and I never had that experience. So coming to Australia and having that, it was a big not my Australia moment for me. But yeah, so far I think that my advice to anyone coming to Australia is to plan yourself very well. If possible, read reviews online about the care home you're going into. I wouldn't say go for it, or I wouldn't say not go for it. At the end of the day, it is your decision to make. Some people don't mind the stress, and if you can read reviews, if possible, speak to people that work in that care home before you jump on it, especially if you can see any person that is from your country to help you explain how things are. Because that care home I went to the last night, I actually was told that an agency nurse that came in a few nights ago, that is a Nigerian, cried out of the shift. She actually literally cried. That's what they told me. I don't know, I didn't see it, but they told me she cried out of it. I was like, cry? Why? She said, yeah, the workload was just too much, and she didn't expect it to be that way. Let's be more cautious of signing contracts, because especially in care homes, there's little or nothing you can do when you sign your contract. You're going to be in that care home, because most of the care homes here are also privately owned, and you cannot change units like if you are in the hospital. I don't know if you get what I mean. But if you pick a contract with the hospital, you can easily change units, you can easily change your specialty if you don't like what is happening in that particular ward. When it is a care home, you have little or no choice. You have to stay there, because if you are in a care home, they can put you in any wing. You can be in dementia, you can be in the nursing side, you can be anywhere. They don't really care, because it's a privately owned facility. You have to meet up with their expectations. Okay, so that's one disadvantage about working in a care home. I really do not know about the management politics, because I think that's a huge factor as well. I went there as an agency nurse, so my views on the politics that goes on, the management, how they manage everything, might not be accurate. But I did ask some of the staffs there about how the managers are, and to be honest, I think it's almost the same with how they treat us in the UK as well. I don't know if it's worse or if it's better, because I did experience it myself. As I said, it was an agency shift, so I don't have facts on how they treat their permanent staff. Okay, so yes, that's my own experience, two opposite world experience. So far I've still picked up shift in other care homes, and to be honest, it's the same. It's the same thing. You just have to be lucky enough to go to a good one, or be unlucky to be a not so good one. Okay, but overall the whole care process is similar. However, they do have slight differences, like how they count their controlled drugs here is quite different. You can sign controlled drugs with trained medicators, but in the UK it has to be another RN, so that means an RN has to be on shift when you do that. So but here you can be the only RN on shift, like on the whole floor, and you have to give medications, give SA drugs with the medicator, which is a bit tricky as well. So the only thing I've noticed here in Australia is that this losing of pain, losing of registration, it's not something they ring on your ears that much. You barely hear people say that. I think they are a little bit relaxed with all the losing pain, as long as you don't do anything detrimental to the care of your patients. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope these particular experiences of mine would give you a little bit of insight on how it is here, and I wish you the best. Okay, for me, I do not regret coming into Australia with my anesthetic experience in a hospital setting. Okay, I do not regret it. I know what I'm for, and I'm happy to do 1 or 2 agency shifts once in a while in a care home. But as a permanent staff, your guess is as good as mine. Okay? Let me know your experience as well. If you're a care home nurse in the UK, let me know your experience. If you're a care home nurse in Australia, please let me know your experience as well. I would love to read from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.